Ohio, BetRivers Online Sportsbook is the place to be for every single game. Now is the perfect time to join BetRivers Sportsbook. When you use deposit code SPORTS, you'll receive a second chance bet up to $500. Get in on all the action with weekly specials on your favorite sports like basketball and hockey to win big-time money. Check out BetRivers.com or download the BetRivers app today for the latest lines, odds, and boosts.
5-2.
5-2. We're on fire. We're going NBA tonight. I wrote because I couldn't remember. I was like, I'm not going to remember.
You get that. I'm waiting to get that Bet Rivers money. I'm about to do it today. I meant to do it yesterday. Cavs is back. Bet Rivers. I'm signing out.
So here's the thing. We all know the Nuggets are very good. They're the number one seed in the West. However, like many other teams, they're mediocre on the road.
Yeah.
The Cavs stink on the road, but the Nuggets are mediocre on the road. They're 14-14 on the road. And the Cavs have not hosted Denver. This is the first time they're hosting Denver. But the Nuggets have lost to the other good teams in the East all of their road games.
By other, you mean Boston, Milwaukee, New Jersey,
Philly.
Or New Jersey.
Boston,
Brooklyn.
Milwaukee, Philly.
Okay, they haven't played.
They're
Brooklyn
0-3 against those teams.
All right.
Now, I know the Cavs aren't quite as good as there, but they're the next team on that list, and so I'm going with them. Another thing here tonight is Aaron Gordon is not playing. He's been out a while, and they're probably going to get Jamal Murray back, but he hasn't played in a couple of weeks, so who knows what kind of shape he's in. They traded Bones Highland, so those are three of their top 5 scorers.
Yeah.
Now, they got their best player, but outside of Ricky Rubio, the Cavs are completely healthy. They're fresh, and they're at home. We know how good the Cavs are at home. They've been remarkable
is this
there.
A bet that you let your heart sneak in there a little bit?
I really thought about this. I was considering 3 different bets in this game, so I could have stayed away from my heart.
Yeah.
I was considering Jared Allen over 14.5 points. I was considering the over-under on the game itself, but in the end, this one, I just love the way the Cavs have played at home. And Denver's a little beat up right now.
Okay.
And they haven't played great on the.
I'm riding with Bull, man. 5-2. You're making money if you're betting with Bull.
This is my favorite Bulls bet yet.
Why's that?
Because I totally agree with everything he just said.
Good.
There we go.
No Gordon makes a huge difference against the team.
It does. I definitely
the
think
Cavs
that makes a
struggle
difference.
against bigger wings.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So.
All right, very good.
Speaking
now
of the Cavs,
we want to go to Cavs Fence Riders,
It is time for Cavs Fence Riders. We have 19 minutes to get through 6 questions, 3 minutes per question.
All right.
With change, and we start with question number 1, Steve. The Cavs have 11 road games remaining this year. Will they win at least 6 of them? A very split panel here, but 3, excuse me.
I'm really
on one side,
disappointed
3
in
on the
you
other.
guys.
The tag team of Jason and Bull.
I'm very
And the
disappointed
Nugget.
in you. So they've been abysmal on the road.
They have been.
And now suddenly they're going to have a winning record on the road?
Well, here's why I say this. I don't know about you. Well, Jason, is I looked at their road schedule, and they are playing some bad teams.
The back-to-backs, I went back and forth on this. The fact that they have
3 of them.
I'm going to talk myself out of it on the set. 2 in Miami, 3 days in Miami. South Beach is undefeated.
Yeah.
2 against the Nets. New York City is undefeated. Right there's 4 losses, probably 3 losses. So
or
that
at least
is
the back ends.
the
You
back
better
ends.
win the first
Yeah,
games.
because you're dropping
the back ends
end.
of those
the Nets
after a
stink
trip
right
to
now.
Prime and South Beach. And who knows what happens in
Orlando?
New
Is Orlando the third one?
Orlando's in there, and I think Charlotte as well.
They're not going to Legoland.
But
I mean, come on.
No, Orlando's okay. I don't think the Nets stink at all. I think they're still formidable.
Nets are frisky.
Yeah, they're formidable.
Frisky,
So I do think, like, JB said it yesterday, he's going to try and crank up the intensity. It's like, okay, guys, now it's time to go.
Yeah.
Like, we had some lollygaggers throughout the first half.
Bush, tell them why
it's
they're
time
wrong.
to
6
go.
and 5. I got them 6 and 5.
Tell them why they're wrong.
That sounds good, but I don't think JB is he shouldn't even say I'm going to try to crank up the intensity. He should have already had them coming back from break before we went on. Like, yeah, y'all go do your thing. When y'all come back, y'all better be locked in because
Well, they were 7-1 coming into the break.
Yeah, that's great, but they looked terrible in the last game. And they looked horrible last year when they needed to win games, and they started losing to Detroits,
Injuries.
started losing to Orlandos, and then all of a sudden they said they was tired, and they 12 years old.
Yeah, but they're completely healthy right now.
I know, so
They had a lot of injuries last year.
I don't want to hear nothing about nobody tired. Y'all all good.
No, it's a young team.
It's a young team. At what point in time do you say, guys, if you want to live up to expectation, you got to win these games, and especially the back-to-back in Miami. That's the team you're jockeying against.
By the way, Garland and Allen, I don't know how much this matters. Maybe you know, Jason. Like, they were in the All-Star game last year, not this year, so maybe they got a little more rest.
A little more rest, you would hope. Donovan didn't get that rest, though.
You're saying that these are very important, but you also, G. Bush, don't think they're going to get 6 of 11.
No, because I don't think they're going to have that level of urgency. Jason just pointed it out. Like, in the NBA, they back-to-backs, they almost chalk them up as L's now. They don't even try to win
Well,
those
these are
games.
unique. I think we talked about it before, and I think it's
more of these are coming.
I think they should do it more often, where you go spend 3 days in a city and you play 2 games.
Cut out travel days.
Yeah.
And we talk about, how do you eliminate back-to-backs? How do you try and cut down on travel? Well, this is how. You make one trip to a city and you play 2 games there in 3 days. Now,
It's worked in baseball for years.
Right. Now, in the NBA, I kind of asked around on it and was told the ticket department hates it because it's hard to sell that second game, but that's not a very good reason to me. Like, do your job and figure it out.
Yeah, you're right. Come up with
that's not
promotions.
reason enough
If
not
you have
to.
great teams coming in, LeBron's going to sell out every
But, like, if
back-to-back
you bring-
second night he goes to.
The problem is the guy's going to play the second game.
Well, no, it's not. It's
Well, if
so,
it's 2
like,
out of 3.
Well, they're
yeah.
more fresh because they didn't have an extra travel
Right.
day in
So
there.
if you fly in Monday, you play Tuesday, Thursday, you have Wednesday off. The problem that they're saying is like if it's the Hornets or the Magic,
Right.
it's
They'll
hard
say
to
game
sell
1.
that Thursday.
Oh, yeah,
It's
yeah,
hard to
it's-
sell the
okay.
game. It's hard to sell it.
No, and there's something to that. McNuggets?
We got one more. We got question 2 here. One fun fact. This is from Earl. The Cavs have 21 games left this season, all 21 in the Eastern time zone. They don't even travel to Central time zone.
Ooh,
all in
okay.
the Eastern time
That
zone.
bodes well
That's
for
good
those-
nugget. I didn't realize that. That's a
Yeah,
good nugget.
Shout out
didn't
to
either.
Earl the Pearl.
That's
that
odd,
one.
too.
Yeah.
I wonder if the league is put a little more
Normally-
emphasis on scheduling close.
Yeah, I feel like we always had a West Coast trip in March when I was on the beat.
Yeah.
We had one in January and we had one in March. It felt like so.
that sets up very well for them. then.
Yeah.
I still don't think. I just don't. Based on their body of work this year on the road, I don't think they're going to be able to flip that switch and suddenly become a 500 team.
I don't think it's a big
on the
switch
road.
to flip.
Okay,
I don't think it is.
I hope
I hope
prove
you're
me
right.
wrong. I hope they prove
We
me
will
wrong.
see.
Yeah.
Question number 2 here. And Jay, you are standing alone on this one, so I'll give you first chance to
It
defend.
won't be the first time.
Will Evan Mobley have at least 11 double-doubles before the end of the regular season? So more than 50% of his games.
Yeah.
Jay, you said yes. Everyone else said no.
Yeah, I believe that Evan Mobley. Well, we keep waiting for that next step from Evan Mobley. I've seen it. We've all seen it. I think Joe Thomas said on the show a couple of weeks ago, well, a guy can do it when you see him do it once. And then when you see him do it multiple times, it's there. Getting it to the point where you're doing it more often than not is a confidence thing. And for me, I feel like, and I want you guys to answer, tell me if I'm wrong here, I feel like his confidence is beginning to blossom even more. It doesn't always show up in the box score, but little things that he does within games, I feel like he's getting a little bit more comfortable in that role of taking on more. And part of this answer for me was hopeful.
Yeah.
Part of it was they're playing this is an easy final 21 games. If you had to judge it easy, medium, or hard, I would say it's closer to easy than medium. So I'm very hopeful that he will do that.
The reason obviously he's capable. The reason I picked no ultimately is that Jared Allen is still the better rebounder.
Yes.
And so I think there's going to be a lot of games where Mobley scores more than he's been scoring.
But doesn't get the rebound
But finishes
then.
with 8-9 rebounds.
Yeah, that was my concern too.
Because Allen just gets so many rebounds.
That's a high bar. 11 and 21.
I wish the number would have been 8.
7 or 8. I might be
Right.
wrong.
I probably would have gone with it too at 7 or 8.
11 is really and I think we have seen him sort of flourish, especially when Donovan had the groin. He had a couple games where he was really emerging, and then Philly, he was awful. He was awful at that last game, and I think that's just still a young guy who's going to have performances like
going
that.
against a man too.
Yeah, so 11 of 21 was just
How many
too
does
high
he
of a
have
bar
on the
for me.
year? I meant to look
17.
Well, yeah, then that's a big stretch.
It was
one
one every 3
and
games.
21.
It's hard to set lines, by the way, because we make these up.
Yeah.
We talk about it upstairs. We talked 8, 9. We thought that was too low. You guys would all say yes. We figured 11 might be that middle range, but I guess it was a little too high.
And on offense, he's around the perimeter a lot. Like, it isn't like, offense and defense, you find Mobley, like, in different places on the floor. When you look at Jared Allen, he's right at the basket.
Right.
There's
If
a
you
lot
talk-
of,
if we
rebounds
knew
there.
Jared Allen wasn't going to play, then I might have said yes.
Sure, because he'd gather up more rebounds.
Yeah.
Okay, number 3.
Question number 3. Will Danny Green score more than 20 points in a regular season game? The Danny Green special and the 2 that usually butt heads agree on this one. It is Bull and Jay saying yes. The rest of us saying, no, it's kumbaya moment on UCSS.
Yeah, this really is. This is very rare, Paul.
Hey, when did y'all break into my house and get that leftover Kool-Aid? Y'all drunk.
It's one game.
I didn't take the over on the 6 wins on the road.
Yeah, you're right.
It's one game.
Has Danny scored? I didn't even look it up. I saw this and said,
I'm going.
Has
He's
he
going to
even
have
scored?
one night where he goes off,
When's
and
the
that's
last time Danny Green scored 20
I'm looking
points
it
in a
up.
game?
Keep
Who cares?
talking,
Who
guys.
knows?
It's probably 4 years ago.
Yeah, but he's going to play here.
Yeah. There'll be a game, if nothing else.
Maybe.
There'll be a game
Maybe.
I think
late
he's
in the
playing.
season where he plays a lot of minutes because the starters are not playing. Maybe they've locked into their spot. He plays a game and hits a bunch of threes.
That's exactly what I thought was going to happen.
He's going to play early.
Yeah.
But nobody knows if he's got anything left. Like, that's what they're figuring
No,
out.
he could easily not even score 8 the rest
If
of the
he
way.
doesn't have anything left, he's not playing.
I just think, blind squirrel gets a nut. He's going to get 20.
Right,
in a
right.
game, he's going to get 20.
Are you guys ready for this?
I can't wait. I
So
can't
his
wait.
3 years ago.
His last 20-point game was actually in the postseason last year, Game 5 of the Eastern Conference semifinals.
Look at that.
His last 20-point regular season game, March 25th, 2021.
That's great. It's even sooner than I thought it would be.
It's not that
I
long
would have
ago.
said
No,
19 or 20.
it's not even 2 years ago.
He went 8 of 10
hasn't
from
played
three.
all this
been
years.
hurt. Yeah, I mean, so I'm
No, he
standing by
he
it.
played a whole season and didn't score 20.
I'm standing by it.
He scored in the playoffs. That's even better.
They don't need him to score 20.
No, but what I'm assuming is going to happen is there will be a game in the final week of the season
Possibly,
that none of
maybe.
or most of the starters don't play because they're locked into the 3 or the 4 or whatever it is, and they play a bunch of bench guys, and Danny Green gets 34 minutes.
It might be the last game because I don't think anyone's getting locked in before the last game.
Yeah, it's going to be late if
It's gonna
anybody's
be a lot
locked
of
in.
jockeying.
Because
Fan
everything is so
appreciation
close.
day.
Yeah.
This is crazy. If I can't, if you threw the bet out there and you asked somebody, hey, do you think Deshaun Watson would throw for 4 touchdowns in the game or Danny Green going to score 20?
I'd take 4 touchdowns.
I would too.
Easy.
Yeah, I would too.
Easy.
I would take the 4 touchdowns. And we ain't seen 4 touchdowns. We ain't seen that in a while. So Danny Green,
Well, he had 7 in 6 games. I mean, come on.
They need Danny Green to do what they wanted Isaac Okoro to do, what he's shown in flashes. Stand
Yeah.
in the corner
And shoot the
make,
damn 3.
Make the 3 when it comes to you and defend your ass off. That's all they need out
I
of
need
Danny
one
Green.
6-3 game from him. And then I just need one other basket. We got it.
you can't ask for that.
It could happen.
Bulls bet of the day. 6 threes from Danny
I'm not
Green.
putting
Now, I
money on
think
it,
from
but-
here on down, I've got no Kool-Aid in my blood.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
This
ran it
next
off.
one, real quick. This is not a fence clutch. It's for just G and Jason. I keep calling him Jay now, but
Yeah.
you're Jay. It's very confusing.
I call him Jay.
Just for you two.
I answered a lot worse than Jay.
Jason and G, more likely to happen this season. Danny Green scoring 20 or Bull and Jay agreeing on another topic as the sole people to agree.
this is
Well, we'll agree on another topic.
See, that's silly. It was always funny to me when fans would call, pull it back to what that question was, and say, this is the first time I've agreed with you in forever, which is ridiculous because we agree probably on 3/4 of the things.
We do, yeah.
But when we disagree, we get into some good arguments.
When we disagree, we disagree.
I meant you guys
Which is good.
disagreeing when the other people agree. You guys were the lone,
that's
send-off
unusual.
there.
Yeah, that's
But
unusual.
Jay and I, when it comes to baseball, are
Yeah.
often on the same page.
Often on the same
Yeah,
page.
yeah, they,
Especially on baseball.
They scratch each other's back when it comes to baseball.
Yeah.
Like they get all in the weeds. They be trying to flex their little muscles. I don't even know if these guys are mechanics or
Hey, Bull's
There's
gonna have
nothing
big
little
muscles
on
after
me,
this
G.
diet, so.
You thought Jeff McNeil was an auto mechanic.
Yeah, I did. I was like, I don't know who that is. But here's the thing. The only thing they really disagree on is like analytics. If you say the word
Yeah,
analytics,
that's our flashpoint.
Yes.
Yeah.
Analytics.
All right, well, it's a good thing analytics comes into the next question because they are not on the same side. They are on the same side, actually. Will Darius Garland finish the season in the top 5 of assists per game? He's currently 0.3 assists. He averages 8. Morant is in 5th at 8.3. He's in 7th right now. So will he enter that top 5? Me and Yuji, we're on the island here. We said yes. Everyone else went no.
yeah.
That's a lot of. He's got to make up a lot of ground.
0.3 in 20 games is probably a lot of assists.
Yeah, he's going to have like a 16 or 17
And
assist
it's a
night.
high number. It's not like trying to get from 4 to 4, you know what I mean, when he's already over 8. And Donovan Mitchell's presence and how ball dominant he is, I just don't see it.
G, explain your reasoning. I'll tell you mine
The
next.
reason is because the best way that they play is when he is getting people involved. I feel like the Cavs should work inside out. I feel like their offense should be inside out, and they should be getting the ball to the bigs early. And Darius Garland should be practicing or understanding, like, yo, I can get mine whenever. I can get mine second half. I can get mine off a pick and roll. I could just do this. Like, I don't have any set plays I need. I could just score. But I'm going to be conscious of passing to other people the ball. And if he does that, it'll raise his assist total. And I think that's the way the Cavs are the most dangerous. But if you watch the games that Garland and both Garland and Donovan Mitchell ball out and come out fire and have a lot of shots, the Cavs usually lose those games.
Or struggle.
They
Like when one of them has 37 and one of them has 28, I'm nervous about the final score in those games.
Yeah, because Mobley ends up with like 6 and 9 rebounds. Jared Allen might have 10, and then you can't really count on a bench like that. Especially now, I thought I would never say this because you don't have Kevin Love. You don't have that spread in the court, right? I hope that don't come back to him.
Mike, did you figure out how many more assists he has to have than you said? John Morant's 5th, right?
John Morant's 5th.
He's 0.3 behind with 21 games to play.
0.3 behind.
Yeah. So he's going to need...
He's going to probably have to average like 1 assist more per game the rest of the season, maybe.
Easily.
Right?
Yeah.
And Morant has gone... So here's my thinking. Morant was up 2nd or 3rd, depending on when Harden counted and didn't count because of games played.
Right.
The Grizzlies have been terrible the last 3 weeks, and I think they're going to continue to nosedive in the Western Conference. And the more they nosedive, the more his assist goes down because he feels like he has to score more. So I think it's more of Morant falls, and he's literally 0.1 behind whoever's in 6th. I forget who it is. And I think the Cavs are going to take these last 21 games pretty seriously, as G mentioned, to lock in that 4th playoff seed. So I think Garland's going to
Let's revisit this one.
Up a little
bit.
bit.
Put that in your note sheet to revisit this one.
We should revisit all of these. I want to know how we did.
We do.
Yeah.
We have a running record. Don't worry.
Okay,
Oh, you
good.
do?
We do, yes.
Never given those.
I'm not very high on
No one's
Grizzlies.
asked.
I got to start paying more attention to this if we're keeping track.
Yeah.
That's right.
We will revisit this. Okay, question number 5. Jay, once again, you are a lone survivor on the island of will a Cav record a triple-double this season? So far, they have not.
This is
Everyone
like a
else
Danny
says
Green
no.
thing.
It
Same
is.
thing.
You get a
Yeah.
hunch.
Yeah.
It's got to happen. In the course of 82 games, it's got to happen.
Do you guys know what the closest performance a Cav had this year to a triple-double was?
Donovan Mitchell was 1 away.
Yeah,
I think-
in a 71-point
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, that's right.
So he had 71. How many points and rebounds?
He finished
11
with
rebounds, 9
assists.
That was a crazy.
If
Which
someone's
is
gonna
crazy
get
if
it-
you think
Which
about
would
it.
have been the most absurd triple-double line of all time, by the way.
It would have. I mean, you're scoring 71,
That's crazy.
and you're dishing out on another 18.
Yeah.
That's 89 points you're responsible
actually,
for.
well,
And
at
some of
least
those were
18.
threes.
He had a lot of threes. I looked it up what all he was responsible for that night. It was an
insane.
insane number.
It was just
In
crazy.
98 points. It was the second most ever in one game.
Yeah,
Well, you
that's
sure it
right.
was 98?
That's right.
Because if some of those assists were 3
I don't know. I don't know if any of those assists were threes.
That is the number. That's counting
Oh,
as
yeah.
the threes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if it was all twos bowl, it'd be 93. Some of those were threes.
Fair enough. You're right.
Insane.
And I believe, because
Insane.
remember we had the discussion, what was more impressive, Mitchell contributing 98 points or Will scoring 100?
Yes.
Yeah.
We had that whole back and forth. Yeah.
Okay.
98's the actual number.
Okay.
I think that's very impressive because when you're a guard, that means you got to dribble and chase other guards around. Wilt just is under the basket. You don't really have to worry about that.
Will actually play defense, though, unlike Donovan Mitchell.
If somebody's going to get a triple-double, it'll probably be Donovan. That would be my
Yeah.
guess.
Well, I'm going to be disappointed if he doesn't.
Last one, and we are on time, by the way. Congratulations, fellas.
3 minutes?
This
What are
one,
we on time for?
He wants to get out at 11:30.
I just want to move on to the next topic around 11:30.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm just saying
I was trying to think, do we have a guest at 11:30? I didn't
Nope.
think we
No,
did.
but
Just one.
the
He's got a lot of stuff to do.
AFC North defensive draft
Is
is
big.
going to be more discussion involved in that one than
Sure.
the offense.
Absolutely.
The offense
All right.
just fell into place.
Yes, it did.
Okay, last one. And we do have a Lonely Island person on this one. I won't tell you who yet. But the Cavs have 21 games left. The question is, will they win at least 13 of them? And, G, you went from drinking the Browns Kool-Aid to
To spitting out the
spitting
Cavs
out Cav juice.
Damn, you are.
That sounds gross. Cavs
Yes,
juice.
it's-
Put me on the bonk list. Add me to the bonk
Yeah.
list.
It's like
Bad
tomato.
job by
It's like
you.
tomato juice.
Cavs
V8.
Ugh.
Cavs juice is V8. That's terrible. No, listen. I hope they prove me wrong. I want them to sew up at least the 4 seed, and I think they should be trying to push for the 3 seed. However, I got to see it. Listen. I am the Duke of Knee Jerk, but I promised myself, hey, listen, I am not going to do this again. And they need to keep putting together some games again. They need to start playing better down the stretch. They don't play that many great teams in the second half. It starts with the game right here against the Denver Nuggets. I'm going to see what type of, because they should be jacked up for that. You got an MVP candidate coming in. You got a team that's number 1 in the West. You came off the All-Star break where everybody you should be running off and running with these. So I think they'll have a 500 record. And I think as constituted, if they play the way they played in the first half, they'll have 500 record. They'll be the 4th seed, and it'll be a toss-up series with the Heat.
Well, they were much better than 500 though the first half.
Yeah, I think. But I'm saying last year, when I look at what they did last year,
I know, but I don't think you're giving them. I hate to use injuries as an excuse, but man, they had injuries down the stretch. They were a dinged-up team,
and they got a year of experience, and they got Donovan Mitchell, who they didn't have last year.
They lost to the Magic and the Pistons.
I know, but they were not a good roster in the second half.
I mean, it's the Pistons. I think the Magic.
I think they were a young team. They played hard all year. They ran out of legs.
Yeah.
And Jared Allen going down derailed everything.
That hurt a little
Losing
bit too.
Rubio and Jared Allen. When Jared Allen's out, we've talked about it before. That's not same fiery personality. Jared Allen's sort of their Draymond Green as far as I'm concerned. When he's not out there,
it's like a house of cards.
they're like, oh my God, what are we going to do? We don't have JA back there. I am shocked at how important he is to that team.
Yeah.
Like he is a pillar.
Is.
Like you could talk about Darius, Donovan, and Evan being the big three or whatever. Jared Allen is a pillar to this organization.
And you know what? For how many franchises can you say? I mean, that's 4 guys.
Yeah, I know.
Those are 4 pieces that they have.
Yeah.
They're there.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're going to get past Boston or Milwaukee, but
Hey,
And
a lot of
last year-
rosters would love to have
and
a
last
big 4
year,
like they have.
You know, right now he's not as important, but last year Rubio was very important to the team.
he was too important because I've talked like
Right.
Ricky Rubio can't bring down your season.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
And
Right.
he did. But you know what? I was as hard on them as anybody in town for years because I hated the way the championship era ended. I thought they're never going to do this again. They're never going to figure this out. And they did it. And full kudos to Kobe Altman and his staff for turning this thing around way faster than I ever thought they could because they're the second youngest team in the league behind Oklahoma City. And look where they are in the standings and look at their trajectory. Like they did it. And Kobe's in a great spot. I was talking about this the other day with someone. Kobe's in a great spot because he's got all Dan's money and none of Dan's interference.
Yeah.
Like he has the best of both worlds of any GM who's been in that chair before because it's like the Steinbrenner's budget without George's.
Is Dan really that much
Yes.
out of it now?
Yes.
Not a surprise that the first time this organization under Dan has organically, in a way, had success.
They have.
Is without Dan meddling.
They did it organically.
Yeah.
And
Shout out-
full credit to them for doing it that way.
I always get people. Shout out to Dan Gilbert's meddling. People give
No.
him. He get a. What you mean no? You just said he's the only one in town who got a ring, and you know what he did?
In spite of him.
He spent. That's what he did.
He did.
Spent.
That
checks.
check.
He wrote
Wrote
checks.
The other
And
cats
he
wasn't
buried
writing
his
checks like
pride
that.
with LeBron.
And he went
Yeah.
down there like, listen, come on, come back and do this
Yep.
again and do it. Do whatever you want.
It was supposed to be just Dan and LeBron, and Dan gets down there, and it's all LeBron's guys. It was like 5-on-1.
It's like
Yep.
it's like having dinner with your ex. You ain't changed a bit.
But both of those guys set their pride aside.
yeah, I like
Yeah.
it.
and
And
came back and
Cleveland's thankful for
the
it.
only reason Dan has a ring is because LeBron came back. That's the only
You're
reason.
exactly right.
And he wrote the check. So good on him for writing the check.
All right.